scared how it feels to be normal again, just stop it. Just keep in mind that you heard it from me, that it's normal to feel this fear, and it's just again feeling of fear of something unknown to you, which you think is unknown because it's forgotten. But there is nothing really scary in getting better. It's just again some extra fear, and I think I had this fear for very long time. Even when I was almost absolutely normal, I still had this weird feeling like I'm still anxious about all this stuff. You're still doubting reality, even if your DR is subsiding as well and you see everything like normal person, you still doubt things because you used to it. It's like habit. So you're developing a habit, and again, as long as you have this condition, it will be more hard to accept the reality back. But it doesn't mean that you won't do that, or it doesn't mean that you some kind of like curse in comparison with people who have it for a year, 2 or 3, and some people have it for 11 years, for 15 years, for 30 years. But it doesn't make a difference. It obviously will take a bit longer, but what is longer in comparison with life? So like keep on going, and trust me, when you getting better, even tiny bits, you're getting better, you are not suffering that much, so it's much more easier for you to continue living, because you can enjoy small things, and trust me, it does make a huge difference. When you can enjoy a cup of coffee, or just sitting outside and looking at people around you, that's a huge progress, and you can't feel so miserable. You start to feel hopeful, and feeling hopeful is, I would compare it to a feeling of being happy in this condition, because you can't be really happy, but you can, as long as you have this feeling like you finally have a hope. What else? Considering DR for me was, in the end, it was one of the longest symptoms which I had, and for a long time it didn't really go away completely, and it seemed like it even won't. But I just realized like I have to do the same. I have to stop checking, I have to stop rushing, I have to stop influencing this situation anyhow. I just have to stop everything. I just have to live my life whether I have this bloody DR or I don't have it. And because I already felt much better, so I thought, well, if that is not here anymore, so this will improve as well. And yes, after some time it was improving and improving and improving, but I noticed that every time I'm stressing a bit more, it starts to be more intense again. But then it was coming back to that point when I felt that it's less than it used to be. So it was shifting from one level of roughness to the lower level of roughness. So that was it wasn't stable. It wasn't like it used to be 24/7. It's really bad. It was good, then bad, then good, then bad, and bad patches were not very long. They were for about like 15-20 minutes, and then it was coming back to, let's say, normal in my case. So yes, DR was one of the lastest symptoms which I had. I think I don't have DR anymore, but it felt to me till the very end that something, even when I saw everything absolutely normal, it seemed like something is still there. But it was more like a feeling than the visual thing. It was definitely just a feeling that something is not right. Again, you can't do anything about it, and the best you can do is just like, okay, it's here, I can't do anything, and I need just to leave it and wait. That's it. Or if it won't get better, what else can I do? Go and jump from the mountain? No, it's not gonna help anyway, so no point. So yeah, DR was worse for me. It seemed like my depersonalization was most horrible experience ever. But in combination with DR, which was extremely severe, I can't say what was really the most terrible part, the most terrible symptom. Everything was bad. Everything was bad. Everything was scary and very severe, and there is no point to choose which was worse or better, or everything, especially in combination. It was just killing me. And for a long time, actually, after I had this, I was thinking that once I'm out, I will start to cry, like there will be a tears of happiness that finally I'm out. But to be honest, no. You just, as long as you start to feel as a normal person, life is taking you over, you start to do your stuff, and you don't want to cry. I think just recently I was thinking about all this experience, and I started to cry. That was the first time ever. And then I stopped myself. And you know why? Because you don't have to be that much emotional anymore. You just can't be so emotional anymore. Because as you can, but as long as you're giving yourself a chance to cry over things where you don't have to cry that much, to stress yourself out when you don't have to stress, then you just, again, affecting your nervous system and giving yourself a chance to be over emotional, which is destabilizing yourself. And that's what we don't need to do. We need to try to cope with the things and not to exaggerate it. So obviously that's a very harmful experience, but again, if you're out, try to concentrate more on the positive emotions, being happy about it, instead of crying over your misery which you had for years or for how long you did. So we are not stressing ourselves out over anything.